do. Then
Okay, I chose academic rigor because I struggle with this at the high school. I sit in IEPs and I have local LEAs tell me that, oh, you can just write that in the IEP. They aren't able to take core classes. Well, you could just write in the IEP. And I've had counselors tell me that, oh, they don't need to take different core classes. You can just teach biology 3 times, and that will count for all of the science credit. And I don't agree with that. So I got a hold of this statement by the Board of Education, and it's Academic Rule 277-700. Anyway, it says that law allows an LEA to modify through documented IEP team decisions graduation requirements for a student with a disability if those modifications are with the same intensity and rigor. Under Every Student Succeeds Act, a regular high school diploma may not be awarded to a student with a disability who does not access grade level instruction or meet graduation requirements or receives instruction through alternate achievement standards. So that basically right there says that we can't just write it into the IEP, and that we do have to have high expectations for our students, and they need to be on level. So this started a discussion in the state that they need to come up with alternate diplomas for students with disabilities, and I agree. So academic rigor is that fine line between challenging and frustrating a student, and we've all been there, and it's a very small line. They need to be challenged. It says that it means that the standards of the course are calibrated so that students are compelled to grow, which is difficult for us because we've got several different levels of students. So differentiating comes in here. The definition of understanding rigor is essential for understanding how to approach and measure the learning of students. It questions the standards we demand from our students and what we consider as true achievement. There's 3 different phases of the educational process that we talk about academic rigor: setting the standards, equipping the students through instructional and supportive methods, and students demonstrating their achievement. Just because a student is labeled disabled or at risk, it does not mean that he or she is incapable of learning. And I've had times where I wasn't sure this was true because I really struggled to get a student to learn. Students with learning disabilities often have average or above average intelligence. Therefore, their success in school is not a matter of inability, but a matter of finding the appropriate teaching strategies and motivation tools, all of which we control as a teacher. I found a great website, Barbara Blackburn online, free resources. You might want to check that out. It talks about academic rigor.
Great.
In a classroom with high expectations, students are expected to understand material at a complex level and to demonstrate that understanding. However, teachers may not ask students with special needs higher level questions or expect higher level answers, or they may not provide enough wait time for students to answer appropriately. And we've all heard this, that on average teachers wait 0.7 to 1.4 seconds after asking a question. And I got a little video. Can you show the video?
Can everybody still see
in
this?
In 1930,
Can everybody still see this? Sorry.
The Laffer curve.
Can everybody see this? I can't see you, so just say yes or no if you can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which Anyone raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? The Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly the same amount.
Do you want it to keep going?
No, it's fine. That's enough. You get the idea.
How do I get out of this?
So
Uh-oh.
it takes, can they still hear me?
Yeah.
It takes
Presentation.
anywhere from 1 to 10 seconds for a student to process a question and then come up with an appropriate answer. It takes our students twice or many times more than that to come up with an answer, which is really frustrating. And it's hard to wait that long. And I get frustrated and I will pound on my student's desk and she hates it. Or I'll just give her the answer. So, which is not what we're supposed to be doing.
So how long, let's time that. How long is 2.8 seconds if it's double the 1.4 seconds? Ask me a question.
It needs to be from 1 to 10 seconds.
1 to 10
process
seconds.
it.
So that's like
30 seconds.
Please explain to me, or please answer me this question. What did you do for Christmas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should be waiting that long, possibly potentially that long. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the other thing that we talked about is asking higher level questions. And we all know Bloom's and the different levels of questions. This was drilled into us in college, but I couldn't find the exact site that I've used before, but this is one of the examples, Cinderella and Bloom's taxonomy. And it goes through the different levels of questions and how you can ask different questions about the story Cinderella. So
Yeah.
my students want the answer to be there. They want to be able to find the answer in what they're reading. Yep. And it's difficult to get past that knowledge type of question. I love the multiple skills series because it asks inference questions. They want to look and see if the answer's there, but it's not. They have to come up with the answer themselves by inferring, so which is a higher level question. Something that I've just learned about with my student that I'm dealing with right now. Too often after experiencing repeated failure over years, special needs students develop a learned helplessness, knowing that they will fail despite even good scores on tests and assignments. Learned helplessness is a process of conditioning where students seek help from others even when they have mastered information. So I have a student that last year was able to read, answer the comprehension questions. And this year, all of a sudden, she's not. And I've decided that's what this is learned helplessness. And it's really frustrating because I know she's able to do it, but she will look and look and look for an answer and not be able to find it. And then, so I'm waiting 2 minutes. Let's talk about 1 to 10 seconds. I'm waiting 2 minutes for her. And it says here in classroom of high expectations, instead of running to the rescue of students who can succeed without us, or even refusing to help such students, which is what I've done. I said, I'm not helping you. You know how to do this. And it doesn't change her behavior. It says that it's important to find ways to help the students gain independence in their problem solving.
Can I comment on this?
Sure.
So last night I was helping my daughter with her math. She's in 5th grade and she's doing fractions, and she had to compare fractions, and she kept giving me the right answer, but she would look at me to see if I agreed with her. And if I didn't agree with her, she wouldn't write anything down. And so I just did a deadpan and said, I'm not going to say yes or no, because then I'm training you to always look to somebody for the correct answer. And she got so mad. But I do the same thing, and I'm so worried working in the post-high. I had students that had learned helplessness, and it is the most frustrating thing to try and combat against, because it's something that they've learned. They want that assurance that they're right, and it's all about getting the right answer, and they won't put it down unless you tell them, yes, you're right. So
something that I decided to start doing, my student is really motivated to get good grades. She's in a karate class, and the teacher in the karate class wants to know how she's doing in school. And I've even reached out to the karate teacher to ask him to help me motivate her, and she's not happy about. But something that I started to do is, if I had to help her, or if I showed her the answer, she would write it down, and then I would put -1/2. I said, I did it, you didn't do it, we did it together, so you only get half credit. And which made her furious. So I need to find a better way to help her learn to become more independent. So ways that we can do that is, first, determine if learned helplessness exists. Explicitly model for the student the preferred academic behavior. So I had to go back to reading comprehension and show her, look at this part of the question. If you can find that part of the question over here in what you read, you'll be able to find the answer. Which I knew she could do, but I still had to model that and teach her that behavior again. Teach the student a strategy for displaying the preferred academic behavior. Provide practice for the strategy. Set a cue to remind the student to initiate the strategy. Allow the student to succeed, which is very frustrating because this takes a long time. But something that I thought was great was, we also need to balance high expectations with support as needed. I can't just give up on her and say, I'm not helping you because I know you know how to do this. Along with higher expectation, it is critical to provide appropriate support and scaffolding. Something that they mentioned is accommodations, and we all know about accommodations. I don't need to talk about that. Changes made to all different instructional methods, materials, assignments, assessments, learning environment, time, or special communication systems. And then I talked about differentiating. It means tailoring instruction to meet individual needs, and something that we need to do because we've got students of every level in our classrooms. So that's it.
Thank you. Nancy, any questions for Nancy?
There's some, I got the information about wait time. Look at the citations because some of those are interesting resources.
So right here. The very last one on that list for wait time. And then what was the other one? Barbara
Blackburn Online.
Blackburn Online.
Free resources.
Okay, that's in the middle. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then another site that I like is study.com. I didn't include that because I didn't use it for the PowerPoint, but study.com. They've got great resources for teaching reading comprehension.